Hi and welcome. My name's Nancy and I'm from southeast Queensland, and this is my backyard vegetable garden where I'm trying to grow as much as I can for my small family. We have an 8x8 meter garden bed which is enclosed and has a roof on it to keep out our bugs. I've done heaps of things this week which I didn't actually get any film of, which was silly of me, but anyway, whatever. So let me show you what I've done in my garden and then some things I'm going to do in the recent future. Yeah, come with me. I think I'll show you this bed here first. So this is my first bed that has the broccoli plants still in it, and they have actually formed a head. I was really worried these were going to go straight to seed, but they haven't. Two have heads, and then the third one, it's tiny there, but it's definitely coming. Now, I left them in. I debated about pulling them out, but I think that they'll do fine. Once they've had their first head, I'll pull the rest of them out. I won't let them go to sprouting. Then on the other side of this bed, I've put up this trellis, and then I've put a row of normal cucumbers and then a row of gherkin cucumbers, and they went a little bit yellow in the seed snail. You can see the rest of them down here waiting to go to kindy, but I'm going to see how they go. I've got plenty more seeds. If they actually don't eventuate, I'll put more seeds in. They didn't take very long to come up. Behind that there, I've put a row of lettuce in underneath these broccolis and a row of lettuce at the back there. I've also put in 2 zucchinis. This one looks really good, but this one here doesn't look so good. So if that doesn't survive, then I've obviously got more seeds and I'll put another one in. I'm not that fussed, it's really early in the season. I've left this cabbage here and we'll wait for it to get a bit bigger. There was one on the other side, but I pulled it out so I could put the trellis in. So that's my first garden bed. Then over here in my second garden bed, I've actually done quite a lot with. So I'm not sure if I showed you in my last video, but I had these spring onions, and then I've planted some flowers. I thought they were straw flowers, but maybe they are calendulas because they're looking really calendula-y. I've got here some little bush beans that I got at the markets. They're doing really well, and some flowers obviously. And then in the middle here, you'll notice I've planted probably 2/3 of this bed with corn. So the sun comes up and goes over, so I'm not too worried about it, the corn shading the rest of the things down this end, because this end will get the afternoon sun anyway. And down the end here I've planted a I can't remember what kind, a Candyland tomato, and I figured when it gets bigger I'll be able to stake it to the beam for the top of my roofing. And then I've put obviously some basil, and that's a billy button which I thought had died, but it's come back to life. I've also put some beautiful little marigolds in, and then there's 2 lettuce that I couldn't fit in that other bed. These are not planted there and they won't stay there. I've got enough room to put another row of corn just here right on the edge, and there over here I just these are the corn seedlings I got from Aldi, or the seeds I got from Aldi that I've sprouted, sorry. And when I put so their buddies are also these ones here and along the back. The rest I got as seedlings from the markets on the weekend. So when I planted those ones out, these ones just weren't big enough, and I've left them in the sun and they're doing really well. So I think I'll put them in today, and I'll put them another row here and maybe even another row this way. But time will tell what I'll do with that yet. I'm really excited to have corn. We always have such an issue with corn, and now that I've put a top on this, and I plan on replacing the gates to make it rat proof, so hopefully this year we actually get corn that we can eat. That will be very exciting. And then in my third bed here, I've still got some leeks which I need to harvest and eat. I just haven't. I've also got onions which are just about to go to, have their beautiful flowers come out. They don't seem to have bulbed very well. So honestly, I'm going to let them go to flower and see what happens. If they don't form onions, that's fine. I'll just cut them up and put them in my compost. I've also got a couple of garlic in this bed that I didn't plant. So obviously they've come from last year. That ginormous cabbage moth somehow got in my garden. Anyway. And I'll let them go for a bit longer before I pull them out. I'm not sure what will be in the other 2/3 of this bed yet. I'm leaving it so that I've got some space for something when I go, oh, I think I want that. I think I showed you these last week. So these are the 2 tomatoes I planted first, and obviously I need to come today and pull some of the bottom leaves off and add an extra tie to support them to their stakes. I have been nipping the flowers off that have been coming along just so that they get put some more energy into growing rather than going straight to fruit. This one I swear wasn't even this big yesterday, so obviously they are loving this crazy warm weather we've got going on. Yeah, I can't wait for tomatoes. I'm hoping to have a full salad by Christmas. Now, I showed you this 4th bed last week, and my sweet peas have gone absolutely gangbuster. They're actually at the point where the netting on the top of my garden is restricting their growth. I think next year I will plan on putting these somewhere else now that we have the roof on the garden bed. But I am loving using them as cut flowers. They smell so divine. We took some to Ribby's kindy this week and they were so thankful. So I will be seed saving for them again this year and hopefully doing way more next year. In the front of them though, there are some carrots, and the carrots unfortunately are full of aphids, so my plan is to pull all of them out, and I might even do that today. Then down the end I've got some lettuce interplanted here from the winter, and then I've put some asters and some cosmos which have finally started to come out and flower. And I think I'm going to have this whole bed as flowers this year. This is obviously the shadiest, one of the shadiest parts of my garden, and I would love to have lots of pollinators and attractors in this bed. I mean, you can't do much with the sweet peas because they'll be there for quite a while now, so I'm thinking I've put some zinnias in the greenhouse, so hopefully they'll come up soon or get bigger soon, and then I can plant them in this space here. My 5th bed here has still got the cabbage and the silver beet. The silver beet I have been picking and giving to my chickens. The cabbages are really starting to form nice heads. Hopefully with this warm weather they won't take too much longer before they're ready to harvest. We'll have lots of sauerkraut, I guess. The snappies are looking so good. These are tall snappies, so maybe we'll be able to pick some and have them in our vases. And then there's some, oh, they look like they'll be pink ones. And then in the front here, I've put 2 more tomatoes. So I've put a short tomato, which is, I can never remember which way is indeterminate and determinate. So this one is just a bush tomato. It won't get very big. But that one there is a Roma tomato, and it will get quite tall. I've also interplanted another row of lettuce, so it will get the shade as those tomatoes grow up. And then again, some basil and marigold as companion plants to help stop the bugs. We have a real problem with bugs here, so last year when I went to the nursery, this lovely man that worked there showed me this great hack, and I think I'll show you that later in the year when I'm starting to get fruit for a fly detector. Well, there's also some spinach down there which is huge, and the chickens are loving that because it's sort of gone way more to seed than I would have liked it to. There's still some echinacea interplanted in there too, so I'll let that keep growing and get nice and big again. Obviously here still in my 6th bed is still garlic. It's still growing, it'll still be in for a bit. It's starting to go brown though, so maybe in the next month we'll be able to look at starting to harvest that. But for now it is just doing its thing and it'll be there for ages. Wow, look at this. I don't know if you can see this. Look at the size of that borage. I need to pick that out before it's unmanageable. Over here in my asparagus bed, what are those moths up there? In my asparagus bed, my asparagus is starting to come up, which is great. The flowers haven't done very well in this bed. I just don't know if there was maybe not enough sun in this section for them to come, and the poppies have done crap. The snappies are starting to come up though. And then, but the ranunculus have done great. I need to get in here today and deadhead a heap of those and obviously put them in my compost. They are still doing their thing. I can't wait to grow more next year in an even bigger patch. Obviously here the raspberries are still doing their thing too. There is raspberries everywhere. I don't know if you can see them. There's one there, there's one there. They're all through the path. I keep pulling them out and putting them in pots to help and share with my friend. This asparagus fern has gone crazy. I did actually pick my first 2 asparagus ever in this garden this week. And then this last bed here, I have planted out, I've still got some, I put out the pak choi and the bok choy because they weren't doing anything. But I have put in a heap of little rock melons. So I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've got some more seeds which I thought I might interplant in this as well. I figured that rock melon would be good in this, and they can come up and they can spend as much or put as much growth into this corner, because I don't really go into this corner very much, as they'd like, and then hopefully we'll get more rock melon this year than we did last year. My little native bees here are doing so well. I am hoping to split this hive again this year, and if not this hive, then I might do my mum and dad's hive, which I will show you now because I took some video of it when I was there this week. My first lot of baby chickens are doing so well. They are getting so big so quick. I do feel like that one sitting on the pot there might be a rooster, but anyway, only time will tell. When it goes cock-a-doodle-doo, then we'll know. But they are huge. They're doing so well in this coop. This mama, she's a good mama. And I'll go and show you the other chicks which we still have in the box. These here are my other little chicks. They don't seem to be growing as fast as the other ones in the coop, but I feel like they are a smaller breed, so maybe it might just take them an extra little bit. Ooh, you crazy little things. I won't be giving this mama chicks again. She's been a bit of a rubbish mother, but anyway, I do love having chicks. Hopefully we'll have lots of chickens and not so many roosters, but I guess we'll wait and see, hey? Yesterday we had the tree removed from in this section. I would have loved to have kept all the bark chip, but it would have been too hard to take the trailer of the shredder. Anyway, so in the next coming week, hopefully I will be able to create a compost system here, and I'll be able to move all that compost that's up in there into this to turn it, and hopefully we'll be able to have some compost come autumn to put into our garden beds. My mulberry tree is in full swing, and my 4-year-old loves picking these mulberries. I wish we had enough to make mulberry jam, but we don't. I have a funny feeling the neighbour does though, so we might go and see if we can trade some eggs for some mulberries. And then in here is just chaos flowers happening, which is quite nice. The poor dogs keep sitting in them though, so silly sausages. So that's the update with what's happening in my garden. Now today I need to do a few other things. I have my 2 tomatoes that I planted first need trimming and staking. I use this soft wire coated, it's like a stretchy wire. It twists really easy like a twisty tie. I just got this at the cheap shop. It's super easy. You can reuse it year after year. I do have bits around. There's bits I've already used from last year there. So I'm going to trim my tomato plants back so there's no leaves on the ground. I'm obviously going to put all of that in my compost, not feed it to my chickens, because tomato leaves are poisonous to chickens, or they're poisonous to eat. Then also have these 2 trays of seedlings of pumpkins. This is a Jap pumpkin that I seed saved from a compost pumpkin last year. And then this is the rest of the Tromboccino, which is sort of a pumpkin-y, gaudy thing, and it's amazing. I love it. They are well past their prime to go in the garden, so I need to get them in the ground today. I think I'm going to put them in my front garden. That way they can trail all over the ground and I don't have to worry about them being in the backyard and there being snakes in my backyard. I will show you when I put them in, because there's a few things in my front garden I'd like to show you as well. But for now I'm going to trim my tomatoes and clean up my garden out the back, and then I'll go out the front. Now, I usually trim heavily with my tomatoes, but this year I'm not going to trim so much. I like to trim my suckers that go downwards, just because otherwise they end up in the ground, especially as they start. But I've watched a few videos recently that said there's no difference to harvest yields if you trim heavily or if you don't. So I think I'm going to trim less heavy this year and see what I can get. I obviously don't grow big tomatoes because we have such a problem with fruit fly, it's ridiculous. And I always get better yields with cherry tomatoes, so I'm going to only grow them from now on, and they're great for salads, and you can still make things like pasta sauce with them anyway, so why not? So I did end up trimming most of the bottom bits off this, and I'm going to let it go up and get nice and tall and bush out, and I will use this magic twisty tape stuff to keep securing it, and hopefully they'll get huge. And we'll have loads of tomatoes. I just have to do that one and then I'll go and plant the corn. So with my corn, I did get a heap of seedlings. I think I got 3 trays of 8. from the guy at the markets last weekend, and then I had planted out this whole tray with 2 to 3 seeds in each cell from a packet of seeds that I actually got at Aldi. I'm really interested to see how the Aldi seeds go. I did get more corn seeds from Hammerbarn last week, and I think I'll wait a little bit before I put them in because I won't have anywhere else to put them, obviously. Maybe when my garlic comes out I can fill another half a bed with corn when I pull all that out. However, I am wanting to see whether I will still have a problem with pests this year, because if I do, then this is the last year I'm going corn. I'm not going to all this effort for something else, some other little critter to take my spoils. I've had terrible trouble in the past with rats and maybe possums. I'm not really sure. I definitely know that there is rats in the neighborhood. We have some big trees behind us in the yard behind us that obviously are pest attractors. There's a macadamia and a locust, and they're so tall that I'm sure that those people can't even harvest their fruits off them. But I also plan on putting some bean seeds in amongst this too when this corn gets a bit bigger. I might wait for it to get to 20 to 30 centimeters before I put the beans in, because obviously, as you can see on my sandpit trellis, the beans are growing so fast up there that I hate for the beans to have nowhere to grow onto as they got bigger. I do have some bush beans at the end of this as well. I'm super excited to see if this works and see if I actually get corn this year. I've been really disappointed in the past. It is important to know that if you're going to grow corn, then you should grow it in clumps or in rows and rows to ensure good pollination, as the flowers, which are also called the tassels on the top of the plant, are what fertilizes the silks, which is the plant that becomes obviously the corn. If you don't do this, then you won't get good pollination, and yeah, you'll have shit corn, I guess. The only thing I didn't consider in this bed is the fact that the top of it is not very tall, so I guess we'll see how that goes. I'm now out in my front garden, and this is such a great space too. It's a courtyard that is fenced off, so it's a fully used courtyard. We've put 4 big trees in the middle, and then in the garden beds around the outside I've got dwarf citrus. All of the citrus is out in flower, which you can see here. The lime tree, this will be the first time this lime tree has had actual little limes come out on it. And my blood orange is doing really well over here too. It's got some flowers. It had a rust problem this year, so I still probably need to deal with that. There's lots of flowers interplanted. My pear tree, so this is a 2 grafted pear tree, and one side obviously already has their flowers out and the other side is yet to come out in bloom. I'm hoping this year that we can get more than just the 1 pear I got last year. Last year I had 1 pear, it was up the top, it survived Cyclone Alfred, and then my son, my 4-year-old, threw a rock at it and it fell off, and I actually almost cried. I was so upset. Over here, such a silly thing to be upset about. Over here, this is a 3-way blood plum, and nectarine and peach. The nectarine and peach they flowered, but they haven't actually got any fruit on them, I don't think. Or maybe they do and I just haven't seen them yet. But this plum has got loads of fruit on it. I need to come out and obviously thin it so that the fruit actually survives, and my mum tells me I need to spray it, so I probably should do that as well this week. But this will be the first time I've grown plums. I'm hoping we'll have some plum jam come the end of spring. I also have this mulberry tree. So it's a weeping mulberry. I regret buying this for 2 reasons. It has not grown at all in the last 2 years that I've had it. And the mulberries are tiny compared to the ones in the backyard. And the birds eat them. So I'm not sure what will happen to this plant long term. Maybe we'll dig it up and sell it and put something better for us in this section. It's such a shame because this was very expensive. I just thought it would be a better than a full mulberry tree, whereas maybe a full mulberry tree might have just been better. The one in the backyard is a dwarf, so it's a bit sad really. And then over here is my 3-way apple. So the 2 at the back have already flowered and have fruits starting on them, and then this one has just started fruiting this week, so hopefully we'll get some apples on it this year. Last year I pulled them off because I wanted it to focus on its growth, but this year I'm hoping to have at least 1 little apple off it. And then finally there's this section here that is in front of my porch. This is a bit of a cursed spot, especially this here. This poor mandarin tree is hanging on for dear life. This section here in the winter doesn't get a great deal of sun, which is really unfortunate. We are eventually hoping to bring out our patio and this will obviously disappear, but for now it is a great little herb spot for us. Here you can see in here is just ongoing parsley. It goes to seed, we sprinkle the seeds back in, it comes up everywhere. It's in our neighbour's yard, it's through our lawn, it's through their lawn, but they're not too mad about it, so that's great. And finally I have a little orange tree. This has never actually fruited, but it has so many flowers on it this year, and I'm hoping that it will actually give me some fruit this year. I think I'm going to plant my pumpkins in this bed so that I don't have to worry about their roots being overdone with weeds. And this spot here has nothing in it. I transplanted this lemongrass, and I think I'm actually just going to pull it out. It didn't do very well. I'm not very good at watering the front garden very much. I also just found some watermelon seeds, so I'm going to sprinkle them in too and see what happens. I'm hoping that this whole courtyard can just be pumpkin and that will be okay. Just have to make sure we leave enough space for the gas man to put the gas canisters down the side of the house. I did end up putting those pumpkins in the front yard. I just didn't take any video of it because my grandma turned up. I didn't end up putting the watermelon in. I think I might start that in my greenhouse first and see how they go. But anyway, so that's my garden this week. If you've loved this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you really feel like it. Thank you so much. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.